Good morning and welcome to Monday Morning Messages. Certainly glad to be back. I was a little under the weather last week and apologize for my absence, but certainly very, very glad to be back in the building, and certainly a lot going on today. Of course, as you well know, students are not in the building. We have professional development that's going on outside and inside of our school building. So it's very important that certainly we take a moment to reflect for the past 3 weeks. Of course, last Friday ended the third 9 weeks, and so therefore, obviously, one more 9-week setting, and of course, with spring break embedded in there, we certainly know that time will get away from us faster than we know it. So we want to make sure that we're certainly planning accordingly in an effort to make sure that what we're trying to deliver to our students and remain in the remainder of this time frame is critically important to their success and also the success of the schools. And speaking of success, certainly we know that ACT is going to be upon us on the 20th, as a matter of fact. And more importantly, what we're doing now leading up to the ACT on the 20th is critically important. And one thing that we are putting in place with Ms. Tyus and Ms. Hyatt is ACT blitzing. So for the second block period, for the duration of this week, in addition to on Monday of next week, we want to make sure that we're pulling these juniors into groups and therefore making sure that from a homogenous standpoint that they're being instructed in terms of strategies, test taking skill sets, etc. The best possible delivery of this information is face to face with a teacher. And so therefore, that's one thing that we're doing this week in an effort to try to tip the balance and make sure that we're doing our part, as we have all year long with the ACT mock and the Saturday ACT tutoring sessions, etc., to make sure that we've done what we need to do to adequately try to prepare our students for this assessment. So please bear with us. I know a lot of you have things that are going on that are critically important to you and what you do in the classroom, but this ACT initiative is going to trump, unfortunately, whatever you have going on if you're teaching 11th graders, because we absolutely must make sure that our students are prepared for this assessment. And also on the 20th, our 9th and 10th graders will, in fact, be taking the ACT mock assessment as well to, again, kind of give an ideal of a benchmark. We've already taken 2 previously. Where have we grown? What are the areas that we need to continue to work in? That sort of thing. So, again, please be with us on that. Certainly the 14th of this month is quickly approaching, as a matter of fact, on Wednesday. And, of course, you probably heard there's a lot going on in high schools and schools across the country about a walkout. And certainly we want to honor the lives of those students, unfortunately, who lost their lives, not only in Florida, but also the young lady in Huffman High School and many others. But certainly closing school and allowing our students to walk out, I don't think that is the proper way to recognize and honor those students who have lost their lives. And I say honor, celebrating the life that they lived, which is very unfortunate. This is becoming too frequent, unfortunately, in our society. But what we are going to do is we're going to pause for a moment of silence and allow whatever students that want to, take that moment to pray and to reflect upon what we're doing here, in addition to what, of course, is trying to be implemented countywide in an effort to try to stop this senseless violence. As a matter of fact, there's several workshops that are going to be held in the coming days, in weeks, in an effort to try to curb this. And you can be very vigilant in talking to your kids and really trying to get an idea of who that child is in your class, and seeing what you can do in an effort to build those relationships and that capacity to grow that relationship. Because oftentimes these students who are acting out, there's a disconnect somewhere. And if there's any way possible that we can connect to these kids, maybe we can prevent something as senseless as what we've been seeing going on in this country. So We're not going to support a walkout, but we will certainly take a moment to pause and offer reflection. Moving forward, Dr. Pouncey, as I made mention in the email, will be here on today along with his team that was out here a couple of weeks ago looking at what we do, looking at our best practices, looking at the day-to-day operation, if you will. And I think it's critically important that we do a self-assessment as teachers and also from my standpoint as an administrative team, a SILT team that we have in place. We need to do an assessment and really look at and say, if these are our goals and these are the things that we claim, then where does it add up, or does it add up? And if it doesn't add up, then certainly we need to do our part in making sure that we put in place what we know to be the absolute very best opportunities for our students. And that not only is in the way of instruction, but also when we look at the CCRI model and we look at what we're doing with our strategies with MDC, LDC, PBL, et cetera, SIOP, we want to make sure that we're delivering the absolute very best opportunities for our students day in and day out, and really allowing our students to know that they have an advocate here on campus, somebody who loves and cares about them and wants to see them succeed. That's critically important, folks, and certainly I applaud the ones that take this to heart and take ownership in the lives of the students that they have in their classrooms, because that's what is often needed. We make up the balance when they're not receiving that at the house, that we are the ones who fill those gaps, those voids. So very important to know that. Also teaching bell to bell. Again, teachers, it's critically important as we are nearing the finish line that we're continuing to work hard and exhaust all efforts to make sure that our students are learning the material that you're trying to get across, and that they're benchmarking, and that the mastery of the standard is certainly something that they're achieving. And of course, RTI is still in place. It hasn't gone anywhere. We still want you to utilize RTI, utilize Ms. Gallimore, utilize certainly Ms. Tyus, utilize Coach Lane, utilize of course Ms. DeArmond, but we certainly need to do our part in making sure that we're accurately documenting what we've done in an effort to try to meet the needs of our students. So make sure you're doing that. Certainly worksheets. Again, I go back to, I've been in classrooms last week. We got a worksheet phenomenal going on. I mean, it's a phenomena, should I say, going on. It's ridiculous. Folks, watching video segments, if we're going to play video segments and do worksheets, then I need to hire some folks from Appleton and save a few teacher units, because that's not going to deliver instruction the way that it needs to be delivered. It's not having our students go through a productive struggle, a productive challenge, having an opportunity to dissect and really grapple with the text and really try to do the research that is required in an effort to be able to formulate an opinion, rather than going around the classroom Q&A on the lowest level of instruction, which is simply memorization, and that's not going to cut it. It's just not. So folks, I challenge you to work as hard as you possibly can in making sure that you tighten up your skill set so you can deliver that instruction and assessment to our students so they can get down the road to where they need to be successful. That being said, let's take what we hear today from Dr. Pouncey to heart. Let's look and see exactly as we reflect on what our best practices are, what we can do to continue to improve. That being said, here at Pittston Valley High School, we will continue to promote achievement, respect, and success. Have a blessed day.